सदाशिव समारंभाम
सदाशिव समारंभाम
शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम
शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम
अस्मदाचार्य पर्यंताम
अस्मदाचार्य पर्यंताम
वंदे गुरु परंपराम
वंदे गुरु परंपराम
वसुदेव सुतं देवम
वसुदेव सुतं देवम
कंस चाणूरमर्दनम
अंश चाणूरमर्दनम
देवकी परमानंदम
देवकी परमानंदम
कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम
कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम अभ्यासात्
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानाभ्यासा
ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते
ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते
ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः
ज्ञानात् कर्मफलत्यागः
त्यागात् शान्ति अनन्तरम्
त्यागः शांति अनंतरम.
So we'll continue from our last week we didn't have the session, but previous week. So we are on second chapter, and we are now on the kind of fourth section of second chapter. We'll talk about that, how it is fourth section. But before that, we'll just recap the last week, and then we will go to the continuation of second chapter. So we saw last week, we had two shlok, 52 and 53, where Bhagwan is saying that your buddhi is, and it's all about talking about buddhi, because Bhagwan is saying it's buddhi yoga, and buddhi yoga is nothing but karma yoga, because the seed of karma is in buddhi. So very wisely Bhagavad Gita has used that. I mean, Bhagwan doesn't say all that, but that's what we have to, when we read again and again, we get the, oh, this is what Bhagwan is saying. And that's the reason we need to read Bhagavad Gita with guidance, or could self, like the Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. So then we come to know Bhagwan is talking about buddhi, because buddhi drives karma. And karma yoga is, if you have a right buddhi, then you will have nishkam karma. And that's where Bhagwan is talking. So he, in last two shlok, he said that yada te moh kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tadha gantasi vinirvedam shrotavasya shrotavasya cha. So we'll read 53, Pankaj bhai ek bar. Shruti vipratipanna te.
क्या 52 ना
53.
No, 53. श्रुति विप्रतिपन्ना ते
यदा स्थास्यति निश्चला
यदा स्थास्यति निश्चला
समाधा वचला बुद्धिः
समाधा वचला बुद्धि
तदा योगम अवाप्स्यसि
तदा योगम वाप्स्यसि. और जब तेरी अनेक प्रकार के सिद्धांतों को सुनने से विचलित हुई बुद्धि परमात्मा के स्वरूप में अचल और स्थिर ठहर जाएगी, तब तू समत्व रूप योग को प्राप्त होगा.
When your intellect, perplexed by what has been heard, shall stand immovable and steady in meditation, then you will attain yoga, self-realization.
Right. So Bhagavan is saying that number one is your buddhi is contaminated by the mud of delusion. Moha kalilam. Kalilam means kind of that mire, or you say marsh, or in Hindi the word is dalalal, the heavy or the wet mud, where you try to come out and you go further deeper. But that buddhi is contaminated by the delusion. And from where you get the delusion? In that shlok, Bhagavan said, Shrotavyasya. So you have heard something, and you're going to hear something, and that is confusing you, and you get confused, deluded. So that is one. In the second part, Bhagavan says, the second, he already talked about one of the shlok, that when you hear the flowery words, right? In one of the shlok, Bhagavan has very nicely used that shabd, right? Flowery words when you use, then you get And they look like pretty good words. Pushpitam वाचम प्रवदंती, कुछ ऐसे लोग होंगे जो पुष्पिताम वाचम इस फ्लावरी वर्ड बोलेंगे, and then you get confused. And this is, Bhagwan is directly attacking the method we adopt. And this happens to like a lot of people, a lot of us, that we get confused by listening to different methods or different ways of doing things, and we are confused, we are deluded, Bhagwan says, and you are contaminated. So Bhagwan says how to overcome that. Shruti vipratipannad. Shruti means, yeah, the word is not just Ved. Anything you hear, you get different principles, you get confused. So Bhagwan says how you come out of that. Very nice two words here: achala and nischala buddhi. Achala means the buddhi which has no doubt. Chala means like shaking, wavering. When it is unwavering, achala. And we saw in one of the previous shlokas, Bhagwan has used the word vyavasayatmika buddhi. Vyavasayatmika buddhi means buddhi just focused on the right object. So Bhagwan is saying when your buddhi become achala, means it has no doubt. Right? And how do we clear the doubt? That's what we are doing. Bhagavad Gita, Swadhyaya. We have to read again and again, comprehend, and doubts will go away. And then Bhagwan says nischala, which is steady. Once you learn, then you stay on with that thought, and same thought. That Bhagwan says, then you will get the samat yogam. Avapsasi means you attain that yoga. What is yoga? Samatva buddhi yoga. So yoga means in Bhagavad Gita sense samatvam, the equanimity, that evenness of mind is yoga. That is in Bhagavad Gita terms, not the Ashtanga yoga. So Bhagwan is saying, so Mr. Rogers, he was in Pittsburgh. He used to give a children program, very nice program. So one of the program he was talking to kids, and he said that little kid you are talking to, and the same thing. The purpose is to be focused, do the right thing. So of course, I mean, here also Bhagwan is saying samadho. Samadho means establish in Paramatma or Bhagwan. Atma we can say or Paramatma. So when your buddhi is unwavering, steady, established in Bhagwan's thought or Bhagwan's, this all reading is Bhagwan thought. When we read Shastra, it is Bhagwan. So when it is established, so the word he used in one of the program, which I liked very much. He says, when you have a guided drift, when you are sitting in the boat and there is on the backside, there is a drift, but the drift is guided. So you are sitting in a boat, Bhagwan is guiding, like here Arjun is doing. Arjun is sitting in the Rath and Bhagwan is driver. So it is a guided drift. So that's why Arjun is free. Like he can ask the question. He knows that here is Krishna sitting in front of me. I can ask him when I'm confused. He says, Dharma Sammula Cheta and Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam. I am surrendering to you. I am here with you. Guide me. And that is called guided drift. Very nice word he used, guided drift. जिसको हमारे परमिंदर जी से कभी कभी बात करता हूँ तो बड़ा अच्छा शब्द बोलते हैं कि कैसा चल रहा है परमिंदर जी, बस भाई साहब ऑटो पायलट में चल रहा है सब हनुमान जी की कृपा से. That feeling that somebody is guiding me from inside, that Paramatma Bhagwan, that is called autopilot. बैठे हुए हैं आप, अपनी चल रही है गाड़ी, सेट हो गया. That's what Bhagwan is saying. Achala and Nishala means guided drift, or we can say autopilot. Somebody, or in this case, Arjun is sitting like we are sitting in the Rath and Krishna is the charioteer. Bhagwan says, then tada yogam avapsasi. Then you will get that evenness of mind, which is the goal, which is the buddhi yoga, which is the karma yoga, which applies to Gyan yoga also. There is no, it's not that it doesn't apply. Yoga, Bhagwan is using a very common word which applies to both Gyan yoga and karma yoga. So Bhagwan is saying, so that's our goal also. Reading Bhagavad Gita. And in fact, Gayatri Mantra, when we finish, the last word we say, Dhiyo yona prachodayat. Yona means hamari buddhi ko, Bhagwan, you take towards you. Bhagwan means the truth or the principle or dharma. Bhagwan is that. And that is the right prayer. And that's what Bhagwan is saying, Arjun, jab ye ho jayega, when you have no doubt that you are self, you are Atma, and then you established in my thought means Bhagwan ka thought here, whatever we call it, Satya, then you will get that yoga. So with that, Bhagwan ne Arjun ko, so there are, as I said, there are, in fact, somebody quoted somewhere, Hindi में बड़ा अच्छा किसी ने लिखा था स्वामी जी ने, कि जब तुम ध्यान में होते हो और उस समय जो निर्णय आता है वो निर्णय ठीक ही होता है. In Hindi he said, like, I don't remember it, स्वामी जी, जब तुम ध्यान में होते हो तब जो निर्णय आता है वो निर्णय ठीक ही होता है. When you are in that deep meditation, or we call it meditation, but dhyan is the right word. When we are in dhyan, and we do that dhyan, right? All the senses are controlled, shut down, and when we say we went do the Brahma Vichar, and we go engage in that thought, Brahman, in that peace, in that anand, में जो विचार उसके बाद जो आएगा वो ठीक ही होगा. And that is the reason they say that meditation is the remedy for, हमारे चितू भाई आज है नहीं, he is on vacation, but he says that meditation can take care of medication. So he used to tell his parents, today he is not there, but he'll listen, he'll be happy. He used to tell his parents that if you do meditation the way I say you, your medication will go away. You will be getting rid of your medication by meditation. Why is nice? So that's what Bhagwan is saying here. Yogam avapsasi, तेरे को वो प्राप्त हो जाएगा. Yoga means वो शांति, वो evenness, and it's very simple. The dhyan, that's what we emphasize on dhyan. Bhagwan also, and then we should do dhyan. We'll do it at the end anyway. So with that, Bhagwan, with this shlok, Bhagwan concludes the section of Karma Yoga, which is Buddhi Yoga. So as I said, there are 4 sections in this chapter, and second chapter is, as you read all the time, everybody says that it is the teaching. It is done. If you comprehend second chapter, the teaching is done. Then everything is magnified or built on second chapter. But if we don't get second chapter, then we can read all other chapters, because this chapter is a fundamental. And it's like that, if we don't know 0 to 9 or A to Z, then the rest of the English or math we can read. But if I don't know 0 to 9, then it doesn't matter. I read calculus or trigonometry, or because basis is 0 to 9. Same thing, A to Z, you need to, that's why memorize all the tables 0 to 9. That's, once you know 0 to 10, then the rest you can figure out. Similarly, second chapter has all those fundamentals. We saw that Deha, Dehi, and then Karma, Buddhi, Gyan, very, very nicely, all the fundamentals, the foundational knowledge or teaching is given in second chapter. So once we second chapter is properly comprehended, then the journey is easier. So first portion of the second chapter, first few shlok, which are, we can say 1 to maybe 8, where Arjun is 1 to 10, when Arjun is still struggling, and then he says the 7th shlok that I am your shishya. So when Arjun says I am your shishya, so my notes say that is a samarpana yoga. So first is samarpana yoga. Without samarpana yoga, and we can say shraddha yoga, you can call it samarpana with shraddha, nothing works. So Arjun has totally surrendered. He says shadi mam tvam prapannam. Prapannam means surrender, the word Sanskrit is I am, and it has come from shraddha. So first part of the teaching is start with shraddha yoga, prapannam yoga. Yesterday we have little kids in my Bhagavad Gita class. So 2 of them live in Mount Lebanon. They have been calling me for last few days. I was in Indianapolis. Their school, actually, this wonderful thought of kids. They want their school starting, and then I go to Shakha also. There Bhagavad Gita I teach. So they wanted to come. He said before starting the school, and the girl is in 7th grade and boy is in 5th grade. You want to come and take your blessings, Sanjay uncle. So they couldn't take it. School started, but yesterday they came. And they said, because school starting, so we want to take the blessings. And they gave me a card, and the card says that we have been reading Bhagavad Gita. They memorize all those things. But attending your class, we enjoy the understanding of the Bhagavad Gita also. In the card they wrote. That is Shraddha. I look at the kids when they came, I was almost like, I was so humbled by that is Shraddha. They said, we are going to school, so let's go and Sanjay uncle's blessing. So that's what Bhagavan. So first part is Shraddha Yoga or Samarpana Yoga. The second part from Shlok 11 to 30, that is Gyan Yoga, Sankhya Yoga. There Bhagavan very well explained what is Atma. And the goal was that we are not Sharir. We are conditioned. अभी हम लोग ज्यादातर लोग भगवद गीता पढ़ते हैं after 30 and 30-40. Very few people Bhagavad Gita. I run those classes, so I see those kids, but very few people are lucky who get to Bhagavad Gita early age. Aapki ladki, yeah, I know. I'm sure someday I have to talk to her about how things are going. But majority time people read Bhagavad Gita when everything is done. So Bhagavan, the reason is because we are Deh-oriented people. We are body-centric people. बचपन से ना, and I always give that example, birthday वाला. हम लोगों को मार के सिखा दिया जाता है कि तुम शरीर हो. How many parents can tell their kids, little kids, you are not the body, you are the Atma, right? How many parents? Very few. उनको खुद ही पता नहीं है तो कैसे बच्चे को बताएं? वो कुछ और प्रश्न कर लेगा. अगर एक बताएंगे उसको बोलेंगे कि तू देह नहीं आता तो कुछ और प्रश्न कर लेगा, इसलिए ठीक है, you are there, ठीक है यार. We are conditioned. So that's the reason Bhagavan told Arjun, and that's the problem Arjun had. He was focusing on body relationship. And body means relationship. My kingdom, my uncle, So Bhagavan very clearly, that's the reason he told Sankhya Yoga, this Gyan Yoga, that you are not there, you are Dehi. The whole 18-20 shlok beautifully explained. Nowhere and I always say, nowhere in any book such succinctly and clearly Bhagavan has explained what is Atma and who we are. And then we saw shlok number 31 to almost 53. Bhagavan is talking about the Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, basically. Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, all those shlok and Karmanne Vadhikaraste Map. We saw that. Very, very foundational or fundamental teaching of Karma Yoga. Only few shlok Bhagavan has given here. The rest, there is a third chapter entire on Karma Yoga, fourth chapter, we talk about that, fifth chapter. But this chapter has given the foundational knowledge of Karma Yoga, Buddhi Yoga. So we saw that. And now Samarpana Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga. Now the fourth part, which I think the Arjun got when he heard both Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, and he said anyway, Samarpana, he already did. So now he has a question when probably Bhagavan is given everything and giving a pause. So Arjun's curiosity inflamed. If someone has this Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga, and this question should come to us also when we are reading. If it doesn't come, then we have to read again. It's like that. If this question comes to, who is that person who is a Sankhya Yogi, who is a Karma Yogi? It's a combination. You cannot say Karma Yogi is separate. वो जो लोग बोलते हैं, I mean, I don't get it. People say, oh, हम Karma Yogi, हम Gyan Yogi. It's all, you have to have both. One doesn't work. You have to have Karma Yogi, then you Gyan Yogi. Right? So Arjun is asking, who's that person? And the Arjun used the word, this Arjun came with the word, not Bhagavan. And he says, so we'll read shlok number 54, which is the last section of this, and which is one of the profound teaching anywhere we can find. And in fact, many people in many ashrams, many schools read this 18 shlok, 54 to 72 every day. Even Gandhiji used to read them every day. And people call this StithaPragya darshan, the philosophy or darshan, we can say, of StithaPragya. So Arjun tossed a very nice word. Probably Arjun has tossed this word because his level is increased. After surrender, after listening Gyan Yoga, after listening Karma Yoga, Arjun's maturity level has gone up. So we'll read Arjun's question, right? How he come up with it. बहुत ही बढ़िया part है ये. Arjuna Uvacha, Shlok 54 of second chapter. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjun Uvacha.
स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा
स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा
समाधिस्तस्य केशव
समाधिस्तस्य केशव
स्थिद्धि किं प्रभाषेत
स्थितिधि किं प्रभाषेत
किम आसीत व्रजेत किम।
किमासीत व्रजेत किम। इस प्रकार भगवान के वचनों को सुनकर अर्जुन ने पूछा, हे केशव, समाधि में स्थित स्थिर बुद्धि वाले पुरुष का क्या लक्षण है, और स्थिर बुद्धि पुरुष कैसे बोलता है, कैसे बैठता है, कैसे चलता है?
Arjuna said, what is the description of one of steady wisdom merged in the superconscious state, O Kesava? How does one of steady wisdom speak, sit, and walk?
Yeah, so Arjun is talking in a way like, for example, how do you, हम लोग, when we suppose we buy a house and there is and it all over the Pittsburgh and every city has the same. There is a new subdivision or housing complex is coming, and you just drive there and say, can we see? Yeah, we have. You can see a model house here. The construction has not yet started, but they always build a model house, and you go and see the model. Oh, the kitchen will be like this, or the deck will be like this, or the yard will be like this, or the living room will be like this. Here is the model issue, and then you decide. So Arjun is asking, who's this model? And that's what his question is. Can you define? Can you explain me this model is? And that's why the answer when Bhagwan is going to start, that portion is called StithaPragya Lakshan. And that is the beauty of all our teaching, especially Vedantic teaching and of course Bhagavad Gita, that Bhagwan is not only describing things, he always gives a solution also. I mean, he explains something and then he tells the goal, but at the same time, he tells the means also. That is the quality of a teacher. I mean, you can tell, oh, this is moksha, Arjun, I can explain you what is moksha. But then Bhagwan tells how to reach to moksha. And that is the teacher. And that is probably the reason we say Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. Bhagwan in entire Bhagavad Gita, he is sometimes little harsh with Arjun, but there is a solution. Why I'm like this? There is a reason. And Arjun. So same thing, when we read the qualities in few shlok, and then Bhagwan is going to give the means also to have those lakshan, the model. I mean, Arjun is not asking for the sake of asking, or we are not reading for the sake of reading. Our goal is that जो भगवान जो model बताएंगे, attribute, where do I fit into this? जैसे हम लोग in our companies, when we, or airlines, suppose you travel, there is a survey they ask, oh, how was the customer service, how was the comfort, how was the food, how was the check-in process, all those things. And based on that, they decide how fit we are. So same thing, ये पढ़ने के बाद, that's the reason probably many people, even I read every day, and then you analyze yourself, where do I fit? So these are self-improvement shlok also, and we can say self-actualization shlok also. So the word he has, the first word Arjun used, StithaPragya. So pragya is a word, if you look in Sanskrit dictionary, gya means gyan. The root word is gya, which is gyan, the knowledge. And the pra is used in Sanskrit means something which is very sharp and intense. So gyan is knowledge, pragya means the sharp knowledge. We can say buddhi also, or intellect, but assuming the gyan, right? Or the wisdom. So pragya means the sharpened knowledge, the knowledge which is exactly know what the goal is, what the object is. It's not confused. So that's why Arjuna has used that pragya. So if we read English, we use word pragya means wisdom also. So, and if we look at English dictionary, they always say knowledge and wisdom has a slight difference. The knowledge is having the facts or having the acquaintances. I know things. But wisdom is when you start using that knowledge to solve something, to discern something, to discriminate something. That is wisdom. So same thing here. Gyan is there. So Gyan means no, but Pragya means that wisdom. It is available to me when I need it, or I know how to use this knowledge. So it's like they say that the knowledge is when you know what to say. Yeah, because I have a knowledge. But wisdom is when you know when to say. See, what to say is just knowing, but when to say is pragya. So that's why the word pragya is very powerful. Probably Arjun has. That's why Arjun is asking it, this person. When the word is used, kim asit, kim vrajet. Asit means sitting, and vrajet means moving around. So Arjun, Arjun is not like a novice to use this kind of. His purpose is not just asking you चलता कैसे है, उठता कैसे, बैठता कैसे. हिंदी में जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना, वो जो आदमी है उसका उठना बैठना किसके साथ में. एक हिंदी में कहावत है, उसका उठना बैठना किसके साथ. सेम थिंग. उठना बैठना मीन्स व्हाट इज द कंपनी ऑफ दिस पर्सन. बच्चों से भी पूछते थे, हमारे पिताजी पूछते थे, किसके साथ आजकल उठते बैठते हो. So that's what Arjun is asking. बैठना मीन्स आसित, और एंड रजत मीन्स उठना और चलना. So वैसे कि ये किसके साथ, how this person behaves in day-to-day life, how this person's conduct is, and can you define? Bhasha means paribhasha, means definition. So he's saying, can you give the description of this person who's StithaPragya and Sthiti is the same word, Sthiti and StithaPragya. And Samadhist, who's established in him. Samadhi means when we are established in ourself. Self. जैसे हम ध्यान, next stage of dhyan is samadhi. Basically, dhyan and samadhi not two distinct things, but academically we can say there are two distinct things. But कुछ नया कुछ नहीं होता samadhi में. When you are in longer period of dhyan, in dhyan, it is samadhi. ऐसा कुछ नहीं. And constantly you are in that thought is samadhi. So he's saying कि and thought is what? Self. सारा गोल वही आत्मा का कि मैं आत्मा हूँ. I am that. That is the knowledge. That's a Gyan yoga. So Arjun is asking कि ये कौन ऐसा, can you describe? So, and another example of like pragya is, which is again 14th chapter. When we reach there, we talk about 14th chapter. Bhagwan same इसी का expansion है वो. Bhagwan will tell Arjun there that how do you get that sattvic gyan? By raising sattvic gun. तो जब सात्विक ज्ञान के बाद भी भगवान tells Arjun in 14th chapter, you have to transcend that also, Arjun. तामसिक ज्ञान, राजसिक ज्ञान होगा. राजसिक तो हम सबको है ही सही. Whatever we do, mostly राजसिक. Is world to day life, worldly life. Right? तो उसके ऊपर उठना सात्विक. Sattvic means the purity or the pavitrata. And Bhagwan says, go beyond that, Arjun. So when sattvic ज्ञान से beyond when you go, that become pragya. हम लोगों का एक शब्द होता है. अभी तो last week तो this pragya word has become international. Can you guess? For two reasons. One is that rover who's still on the moon is called pragya. Pragyan naam hai uska. The one who is pragyavan, that is pragyan. So that rover is there right now, still alive. It is on the moon. The name given to pragya. That's the reason. The knowledge is being utilized to do something. That's why uska naam bada soch samajh ke diya hai. Very wise people working in ISRO also. Pragyan. And the other guy, the chess champion, who lost the final, but he went to 18-year-old. His name is Pragyanand. The one who is always enjoying that pragya is Pragyanand. So the two people, when we're reading pragya, so, and that's what Arjun is asking. Ye kaun log hai? And we have two models here, right? That rover and this guy. These are Pragyanand hai, Pragyan hai, Pragyavan hai. And they are using the knowledge when it is needed. Otherwise, how 18-year-old kid can reach to the final? So that is pragya. So I just thought we'll spend some time because this word is very powerful, and that is Bhagwan wants the character out of his devotees, including Arjun, or maybe all of us. That's the goal of Bhagavad Gita, to have that pragya. When the knowledge is there, but I use it, it is available to me when I need it. Otherwise, that knowledge is just a gyan. So wisdom, when it becomes, so for example, there is example given that tomato is a fruit, very awkward thing, right? But majority time we find tomato in a vegetable shop, but according to the biology, tomato is a fruit, but tomato is never added to fruit salad, never. So tomato is a fruit, is knowledge. Tomato should not be added to fruit salad, is the wisdom. We are not rejecting tomato, but tomato has to be eaten at a different time because it's not fruit. And so that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. And that's what Bhagavan is explaining to Arjun, that our goal is to have. So now Bhagavan's answer. Wow. This is where so far Bhagavan explained on his own. Arjun asked, I'm your Shishya, tell me. So all those Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga, Bhagavan gave on his own. And then Bhagavan gave a pause. Now Arjun has asked a matured question. Now look at all these shlokas are very, very mature, very, very in depth. Of course, the beauty of Bhagavad Gita is it's very simple. Every shlok is very simple, but deeper and deeper. So Bhagavan is all these next 17, 18 shlok, very, very, every shlok has a very deep meaning. So let's listen what Bhagavan is saying, right? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, 55th shlok.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Prajahati yada kaman
Prajahati yada kaman
sarvan parthamanogatan
Sarvan Parthamanogatan
atmaniv atmanatushtaha
Atmanyevatmana Tushta
StithaPragyasya dochyate.
प्रज्ञस्तुदोच्यते। इसके उपरांत श्री कृष्ण महाराज बोले, हे अर्जुन, जिस काल में यह पुरुष मन में स्थित संपूर्ण कामनाओं को त्याग देता है, उस काल में आत्मा से ही आत्मा में संतुष्ट हुआ स्थिर बुद्धि वाला कहा जाता है।
The blessed Bhagwan said, when one completely casts off, O Partha, all desires of the mind and is satisfied in the self, by the self, then is one said to be of steady wisdom.
Yeah, वैसे तो इसको, when you read this, it looks like very straightforward, right? but this shlok gives, I mean, it is summary of all the teaching. So Bhagavan is giving two things here. So one is, I mean, there are two ways we can read this shlok. One is, so if you look at my email also today, I put in, yeah, right. So there are two things here. One is Prajahati means give up. Sarvan Kaman, all the desires. But many times people ask this question. Whenever we read this shlok, people read, if you give up all the desire, then how the world will survive? But that's where the second chapter we have to understand. The beginning, Arjun's question was, tell me what is Shreyas. And entire Gita is about Shreyas. Shreyas means Swadharma. Swadharma, Dharma. Dharma or Swadharma, both we can say. So what is right? So what Bhagavan is saying, give up all the illegitimate, adharmik desires. He's not saying dharmic. And dharmic desires means, we know there is a varnashram vyavastha. Depending on your role in the society or samaj or family or whatever place, depending on your assignment, legitimate. हम लोग अभी ऑफिस में भी जाते हैं तो we have this card, the entry card, which has a chip. So we always say that, and because I'm an auditor also, so we sometimes observe. There is a test in audit, one of the tests, that I'll be standing next to the room. I watch people going in using the card. And if one card scan should have only one entry, that's the legitimate. And we say that's called tailgating. We said no, because if second person who doesn't have card enters, it's a illegitimate entry. So the second person should also have the card. So that is legitimate. So one is saying that जो भी desire give up, then an illegitimate desire, adharmik desire. And then as we go into Bhagavad Gita, he's going to explain what adharmik desires. But typically the desires rising out of in simple terms, Rajogun and Tamogun are likely to be illegitimate. Like most likely to be illegitimate. Tamogun to definitely legitimate. Rajogun mein there could be some, depending on how what is the content of Sattvagun. If it is influenced by Sattvagun, Rajogun, for example, Rajogun means, oh, I am too much attached to my mandir or puja or something which is, it is a Rajogun, but at least it is your attached, your people fight for mandir also, for dharmic cause, right? So they are saying, oh, I'm fighting for mandir or dharmic cause. Yeah, you're doing that. So it is not 100% illegitimate desire to do that, but still it is driven by Rajogun. So give up that. Bhagavan says, give up that. So anything which is adharmik, which is not helping in sustaining the shreyas, the greater good, that desire, prajahati, sarvan, all those, उसमें percentage भगवान ने दिया 10% कर देना, 100%. सर्व that, yeah, but dharmic desire you continue. Just for example, we do this, or we make an effort to do satsang or swadhyaya or good thing. So those are dharmic desires. Yeah, that we continue because, but the goal is to, using those dharmic desire, goal is to cross the sattvic gun also. Like for example, 99 degree to 100 degree, and then it becomes steam. So our goal is to become that steam. That's the reason those dharmic desires will help boil the water from 99 to 100 degree and just become steam. But adharmic, give up. So that is one condition. And then Bhagavan says, satisfied within himself or herself. So that person is called StithaPragya, if you read the shlok. But there are two sides of it. One is you give up all the desires, and then you will be satisfied within yourself. Because if I sit in dhyan, or if I say, see, satisfied within self means santosh, right? But क्या होता है कि हम ध्यान करने बैठते तो 50, like all the desires will come, all the disturbances will come. So dhyan doesn't work, right? So we can take both way. But the easier path is that try to practice atmanev atmanatushta. That should be the quality StithaPragya ki. That way desires easy to give up those desires. But if we fight with desires, then there's a longer and tougher path. एक 12th जब हम जाएंगे 12th चैप्टर में तो भी एक जगह भगवान बोलते हैं कि देह वर्भित, देह जो लोग देहधारी हैं उनके लिए ये साधना थोड़ी डिफिकल्ट है निर्गुण ब्रह्म की. तो इसके लिए डिजायर्स को मारना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है. सो बेस्ट ये कि आत्मन्यव आत्मनातुष्ट, एंड दैट इज द प्रोसेस ऑफ द अभ्यास, practice the dhyan. Of course, swadhyaya. And what is the process? Shravanam, mananam, and nididhyasana. Listening, regurgitating, which is mananam, and then imbibing, nididhyasana. That route if we go, that is atmani, atmanatushta. Within atma, within myself, by my effort, I am, tushta means contented. Santosh, this is santosh shabda. The root is tushta means contentment, usi is santosh. So if I am santoshi, then it's easy to give up desires. Look at that, what a wonderful way Bhagavan has put it. Because if I'm contentment, then I don't need. मेरा अगर आज 2 समोसे खाने का मन था और 2 समोसे खा लिए, then third samosa doesn't attract me, doesn't disturb me. I'm okay. So it's like that. So भगवान कह रहे हैं कि संतोष बहुत बड़ा धन है. We'll see at the end. कबीर दास जी का बड़ा प्यारा दोहा है. So once you have that santosh within yourself, by yourself, then the desires is, you can give all illegitimate desires. So we can read this shlok, but I find second part first. Atmanev atmanatushta, then prajahati yada kaman sarvan. And manogatan. Now the word Bhagavan, manogatan means deep inside. Gatan means deep inside. And the desires are sitting deep inside. It's not that easy. When they pop up, when the situation comes, all of a sudden ऐसा नहीं था कि 24 घंटे एक ही desire आ रही. The situation comes and desire pops up. So I just a small incident of my very young time. I was traveling with my Swamiji, my Guruji, when I just graduated from college, 20-year-old. There was an ashram near Devas, there is a town. So he wanted to see his Guruji, who was 120-year-old that time. So I said, Swami, I'll also come. तो बोले ठीक है आ जाओ, बस की जर्नी है 4-5 घंटे की। I said, okay, चलो। तो हमारी एक आंट थी, बुआ जी, she said, मैं भी, I'll also come. ठीक है, and she was that time 70-year-old, very nice lady. I mean, I knew her for puja part, she very disciplined, very sattvic स्वभाव वाली. And I said, okay, so Swamiji, that aunt, we were traveling by bus. So I'm talking about 40 years ago. So that time bus stops, like it's a small town, so it takes a lot of stops. So bus stopped at one station and the driver said, this is a half an hour, 45 minute layover. आप लोग अपना अपना कुछ खा पी लो, चाय पी लो, कुछ नाश्ता कर लो. तो ड्राइवर चला गया. Swamiji said, well, there is a half an hour time, so I'll take a walk. आप लोगों को बैठना बैठो, मैं घूम के आता हूँ. तो he just, but he always used to say, tell us that कि भाई समोसे नहीं खाने चाहिए, स्पेशली बाहर के भी नहीं, वैसे भी रोज रोज नहीं खाना चाहिए समोसा. हमारे लक्ष्मण जी है नहीं तो खुश हो जाते हैं सुन के. एंड बाहर का तो खाना नहीं चाहिए, कुछ ट्रांसफैट, कुछ ऑयल होता है, कुछ. सो ऑलवेज दे यूज्ड टू से, राइट, बाहर का इधर उधर का उल्टा सीधा नहीं खाना चाहिए, तमस भी बढ़ता है, तमस. तो आई यूज्ड टू फॉलो दैट बिकॉज स्वामी जी ने कहा है. When Swamiji went, my aunt Buaji called me, Sanjay bhai, Sanjay beta idhar आओ. उन्होंने she gave me some Indian rupee bill. She says कि एक काम करो, स्वामी जी 15-20 मिनट में आएंगे, तब तो वो सामने समोसे बन रहे हैं गरम गरम, वो जरा 2 समोसे ले आए, एक आप खाना, एक मैं खाऊंगी, और चाय भी ले आना. स्वामी जी चाय, मैं भी चाय भी नहीं पीता. आई सेड, आई स्टिल रिमेम्बर दैट डे. मैंने सोचा बुआ जी अभी स्वामी जी के सामने तो सब सत्विक ही चल रहा था, अभी बोले जल्दी से ले आओ, 10 मिनट स्वामी जी आएंगे उसके पहले. She was 70-year-old that time. I still remember. मैंने सोचा इनको अभी समोसा खाने का कैसे याद आ गया. भगवान से मनोगतान, ये जो कामनाएं हैं ये मन के अंदर, अब बेचारी कब से दबा के बैठती होगी, कुछ होगा, आश्रम में रहती थी, वो समोसे दिखे, उन्होंने कहा आज तो खा ले. This is the danger. So भगवान is saying कि प्रजहाति यदा कामान सर्वान पार्थ मनोगता, सारी हटानी पड़ेगी, इलेजिटिमेट. अगर समोसा तामसिक है तो you have to control. I mean, of course, in the 6th chapter, Bhagavan is going to talk about the moderation also. He is not saying. So that is one beauty of this teaching, that it is not extreme. Bhagavan is telling कि क्या करना है. तो हम लोग जाएंगे तो we'll talk about what type of food we should eat. Bhagavan is a good teacher. So he's not just scaring us to not do things. So yeah, so first thing is Bhagavan is now telling him the model which Arjun asked. This model is good for self-assessment and self-judgment. And when we read those lakshan, we have to judge ourselves, right? So there are two things, Atmanaiva Atmana Tushta and Prajahati adharmik kamana. We have to supply that word adharmik. A lot of people have confusion and they ask, अरे सब डिजायर खत्म हो जाएंगे तो चांद पे कैसे जाएंगे. अरे वो चांद, ये सब चिंता छोड़ो, आपने अपनी डिजायर की बात करो, जो समोसा खाने की. आप चांद की चिंता छोड़ो. लोग उसमें परेशान हो जाते हैं कि हम लोग ये सब बंद हो जाएगा, इनोवेशन. In the business there is a model called inside out. Business management में हम लोग पढ़ते हैं. So that is a very popular. Even Apple, Steve Jobs also innovated that model. So inside out means जो skill within the corporation, that use that skill and innovate your business. So why do we do this business? That's what he used to say, Steve Jobs. Why do we do this business? And inside skill of the corporation should bring the innovation, not so बाहर से इकट्ठा कर रहे हैं. So inside out. So this is Bhagavan is saying inside out. अपने अंदर संतोष लाओ, and then you try to fight with the desire. Otherwise, you cannot fight. So we'll read one more shlok, and then maybe it's almost the time. So read 56, which is continuation of that. So Bhagavan is not defining the qualities of that person. पहली ये है कि उसकी he is संतोष, he is content within himself or herself, and he's not dependent on the outside object. Self-contentment, outside object, I don't need to be happy. I'm happy. I close my eyes. I'm fine. And then second, give the adharmik desires. So we'll read 56. Dukheshu anudignamanaha.
Dukheshvanudignamanah.
Sukheshu vigataspраha.
Sukheshu vigataspраha.
Vitaraga bhaya krodha.
Vitiraga bhaya krodha.
Sthidhirmuni uchyate.
तित धीर मुनि रुच्यते, तथा दुखों की प्राप्ति में उद्वेग रहित है मन जिसका, और सुखों की प्राप्ति में दूर हो गई है स्पृहा जिसकी, तथा नष्ट हो गए हैं राग, भय और क्रोध जिसके, ऐसा मुनि स्थिर बुद्धि कहा जाता है।
He whose mind is not agitated by sorrow nor excited by joy, who is free from desire, fear, and anger, he is called a sage of steady wisdom.
ही में शी भी है, ठीक है, वी शुड नॉट वरी अबाउट इट। वो केवल लोग
That's right.
आदमियों, ऐसा नहीं कि आदमियों पे एप्लीकेबल है, महिलाओं पे भी
True, true, true.
अदरवाइज, और ठीक है आप लोग ठीक करो अपने आप को, दुनिया ठीक हो जाएगी। इट्स लाइक दैट, लेडीज ऑलवेज से दैट कि अगर मैन आदमी ठीक हो जाएंगे दुनिया वैसे ही ठीक हो जाएगी। इन ए वे देयर राइट आल्सो, कि आदमी लोग अगर ये कर लेंगे तो आधी 70-80% दुनिया ठीक हो जाएगी। बट इट अप्लाइज टू ऑल। सो भगवान इज सेइंग देयर इज अ वर्ड कॉल्ड उद्विग्न, very powerful. Udvigna means agitation or disturbance or anxiety. So typically we are, sukh means the favorable and dukh means unfavorable. We get anxious or we are disturbed in both. Sukh में ऐसा हमें लगता है कि हम डिस्टर्ब नहीं है, we are disturbed. Disturbed in the sense कुछ एंजॉय करने लगते हैं, कुछ बहुत मजा आने लगता है. That is also according to Bhagavad Gita, that is also disturbance in the mind. So Bhagwan says this person is not udvigning दुखेशु और सुखेशु। सुख में उसकी स्प्राह मीन्स द पैशन, मोर सुख, और सुख के लिए मैं कुछ भी कर दूंगा। सो इट्स नॉट लाइक, एंड दैट गोज बैक टू द सेम समत्वम योग उच्यते। दिस पर्सन ये कर्म योगी है, ये कर्म तो कर रहा है, और कर्म विल डेफिनेटली प्रोड्यूस ईदर सुख और दुख। दुख इन द सेंस वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट internal condition, we are talking about the result, favorable or unfavorable. Any karma will do either, and no guarantee when we do karma all life, sometime it is favorable, sometime it is unfavorable. So that is sukh and dukh. So ये person, this कर्म योगी जो है, ये बुद्धि योगी है या ज्ञानी है, he or she is not disturbed. उद्विग्न means agitated in dukh, and not spраha. Spраha is also agitation. Passion is agitation. I mean, हम बोल सकते हैं कि I am passionate about, but when we are passionate, according to the doctors, if you take the MRI of, they have taken, there are a lot of studies there. You take the MRI of a person who's dukhi and take MRI of brain MRI of a person who's rejoicing, कुछ ना कुछ ग्राफ अलग ही ले आए, कुछ अंदर डिस्टर्बेंस है. But take MRI of a person who's in samadhi, in dhyan, which they have taken. There are MRIs available, right? There is a difference. They are still not able to conclude right now, neuroscience, but they have figured out a pattern. So सुख दुख में पैटर्न चेंज होगा, जब नहीं होगा ये उद्विग्न तो पैटर्न एकदम शांत होगा. So that भगवान से that is the quality of स्थित प्रज्ञ, जो दुख सुख में तो परेशान नहीं होता. So second reason, वीत राग भय क्रोध. वीत means moving away or negation. This person is negating what? Rag, which is attachment. Whenever attachment word is used in Bhagavad Gita or any in life, attachment is always to the possessions. Possession include the body relation. घूम फिर के वो शरीर पे आ जाता है कि देह से जितनी भी संबंधित चीजें हैं, there are possessions. It could be relations, it could be objects. So Bhagavan is saying, Veet Rag, this person has crossed or maybe move away from the Rag, Bhay, fear, and Krodh. Because these three things, and the free attachment, possession means again you are bound. Bound means illegitimate, adharmik. बंधन से मुक्ति धर्म है और बंधन में होना अधर्म है. According to the आध्यात्म teaching, बंधन is अधर्म. So जो जो कर्म मुझे बांधता है वो अधार्मिक है. So Bhagavan is saying, and that is rag. You move away from rag. And then, of course, we have fear. Everybody fear of impending future or impending misfortune. कि कुछ गलत होने वाला है. We always have, that is the only bhai. There is no, and we are not sure कि होने वाला है कि नहीं होने वाला. There is no guarantee. लेकिन there is always a fear. I'm going to lose something. I'm going to fail in something. And that is bhai. So this person, again going back to the same definition, samatvam, buddhi is equipoised. This person doesn't care, ma phaleshu kadachan. The कर्म योगी तो फल के लिए कर्म करता ही नहीं है, कर्म के लिए कर्म करता है, तो उसको तो भय होना ही नहीं चाहिए. That's what भगवान is saying कि ये व्यक्ति जो है स्थित प्रज्ञ है, इसलिए इसको भय होता ही नहीं है. ये स्थित प्रज्ञ है, इसलिए इसको राग होता ही नहीं है. और क्रोध आता है when is resulting from unfulfillment. When I am not getting what I want, I am angry. This person is atmanne atmana tushta. He is already fulfilled. So where's the question of growth? Growth is, we all know that growth is anger, is coming out of what I was expecting, and that expectation has not been fulfilled. But this is StithaPragya also expect. Bhagwan is expecting Arjun to go for the war. But Bhagwan is not angry because Bhagwan is StithaPragya. He is not in the war to achieve something. He is already fulfilled. Dharma, Shreyas. So Bhagwan is saying, इसलिए स्थित प्रज्ञ तो को उसको वीत means he is away or she is away from rag, bhaya and krodh. Now there's a scale Bhagwan is given to all of us. So this whole 18 shlok, that's why people read every day. We have to take this scale and put ourselves in scale. को height देखते हैं ना, इतनी height हो गई, या weight देखते हैं इतना weight हो गया. I think we have to weigh ourselves against these lakshan, which is sthit pragya ki lakshan. And because our goal is to become sthit pragya. Arjun's question is our question. What is this model? So with that, we'll go do our dhyan. Next time we'll continue with few more lakshan. So santosh is the keyword for today. Atmanne vatmanatushta. That is the best 2 words Bhagwan has described this person. So Kabir Daji ka ek doha hai. Godhan, gajdhan, vajdhan. Godhan means guy, gajdhan means hathi, elephant, vaj means horse. Or Ratan Dhan Khan, and you can have all the diamonds and jewelries. Jab aave santosh dhan, sab dhan dhuri saman. ये सब बड़े बड़े धन है. There are like prosperity. आज के time पे you can say all these modern lifestyle. But जब आवे संतोष धन, सब धन धूरी. धूर means like dust. ये बाकी सारे धन dust के बराबर हैं संतोष के सामने. और क्या बात कबीरदास जी ने कही है. Here is संतोष, here is all rest of the possessions. So भगवान says that's why आत्मने आत्मनातुष्ट. इसको संतोष का धन है, इसलिए इसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है इस दुनिया में क्या हो रहा, आ रहा जा रहा, सुख दुख, भय क्रोध doesn't come to this person. So let's do our dhyan, and hopefully in dhyan we get the santosh dhan, right? To glimpse of the santosh dhan. Okay. Sit straight. We'll say Om 6 times and then go to the same journey from outward to inward. Slow and shallow breath during the process. Now bring the focus to the tip of the nose, nostril, and just think of Prithvi Tattva. Bring image of Bhudevi, Prithvi in the mind, and observe the breath at the tip of the nostril. Now shift focus to the tip of the tongue and think of Jal Tattva, which is water, because we feel Jal through tongue. So keep the focus on the tip of the tongue and think of Jal Tattva, or water element. Now shift focus to the eyes and think of Agni Tattva, which is fire element, or you can bring image of Bhagwan Surya. Keep the focus on the eyes with the image of Bhagwan Surya in mind. Now shift focus to the skin and feel Vayu Tattva around us, which is Pavan. For us, it is Pavan Devata, or fire or air element. We can feel Vayu on skin. Skin is the fourth Gyanendri or sense organ through which we feel the outside world, which is Vayu. Now shift focus to the ears and hear, because we feel the space, and space can be felt only through sound. So when we keep the focus on ear, we can hear some sound traveling in space. And we are in space. The space is Bhagwan's subtlest gross element form, which is the fifth element. Now I should feel that I am not these senses, I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not the buddhi, I am not the chit, the memory store. I am Satchidananda, Sakshi, Chaitanyatma. And that is the whole second chapter, Sankhya Yogis. I am not there, I am the Dehi. Now Bhagavan says, once all these senses are stopped transacting with the outside world, the mind is quieter, do a Brahma Vichar, which is Gayatri Mantra is the best Brahma Vichar. Om Bhum Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. And Bhagavan says, Yukt Asit Matpara. Surrendering, which Arjun says, Shadimam Prapannam. For the teaching also we surrender with the Shraddha. That's what we are doing here. And just keep Bhagwan's image in mind or that thought in mind. Yukta Asit Matpara. Stay in that position or state of mind as long as possible. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bole Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki Jai. Hari Om.